In Focus now, Clay Travis, OutKick founder. So, Clay, on my power panel earlier this hour, I had a Democrat on who worked earlier in Biden's term, I learned, Megan Hayes. And she thought that, maybe Democrats don't get so reflexively upset with everything Trump does. It's an interesting perspective. This might be one of those things. I mean, if you fight over everything, then the public still will think that you don't know what to fight over. And it's not them.
Well, first of all, as much as it pains me, congratulations to your Chiefs, who I don't think are ever going to lose another football game, Harris.
Oh, they will.
So we got Super Bowl coming up.
But I'm rooting for them.
I don't know. But let's dive into this. I think what you're hitting on and what your panel discussed is incredibly prescient here. Here's what no one is discussing. In 2015, when Trump came down the escalator and he started to argue in favor of a wall and border security and many of his current positions, they were minority positions. That is, most people didn't agree with them. What's happened over the last 9 years is, as Trump has made these arguments, as the border has fallen apart, as we have gotten engaged in war in Europe and also in the Middle East, a lot of people said, hey, wait a minute, Trump was right on these. So it's not even just, to me, Harris, opposition. It's that Democrats have now painted themselves into a corner where they're saying, hey, men who identify as women should be able to win women's championships. And the New York Times is saying, hey, 79% of people disagree with you. Trump has not only won the argument, he's won a substantial majority of American people on many of these issues. And so I think Democrats are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, we are now arguing for a minority position. So if we draw more attention to it, it further destabilizes, legitimizes the opposition to Trump. So that's the crazy part to me. There is no actual Democrat person out there who is arguing in any way in an aggressive manner against Trump, because I think they recognize he's right on most of these issues now.
Look, it is an exact example and proof that on the left and the liberal legacy media, some of them, most of them, were navel-gazing, and that they weren't taking in the entire room. They didn't see all the other information that was out there about what Trump would do, because he said it at the all-women town hall. How are you going to get men out of women's sports? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So either you listen, pay attention, or you don't. But if you don't, you can't lead. This is from a post-editorial board piece. Trump must clean out the partisan rot at the Justice Department. It argues Trump can't afford to spend his second term again being sabotaged by shadowy operators ensconced as career civil servants, and he has a duty to purge justice of thugs happy to play politics and undermine the rule of law. Interesting. All of that in just a few words.
No doubt. I think that's super important. And you did a great job in that town hall several months ago, Harris, building back on what you just said. You know that ad, he's for us, she's for they, them, that ran during every football game, basically, that we watched all during the fall? It tested in supremely high with 3 different groups: black men, Hispanic men, moms. Think about how compelling. You saw it in that room on that day when every single mom and grandma in that town hall had the exact same reaction. And I think this ties in, Harris, with what you just asked me about the Department of Justice. Trump has the right, I believe, focus on what he is doing in remaking the government in week 1. But he's going to run into obstacles, as we just saw with a federal judge out in Washington State, I believe it was, on the birthright citizenship issue. We've got a Department of Justice that has to move with Trump, not against him. It's one of the most important things he has to take care of.
All right. With the couple minutes that we have left, I want to get into the dismantling of DEI and the programs in the government and now beyond. Trump's reportedly expected to sign an executive order today to eliminate woke policies in the military. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth arrived on Capitol Hill for the first time this morning as our new SecDef. Officially on the job, and signaled eliminating DEI is a top priority. He posted yesterday the president's guidance, lawful orders is clear. No more DEI at the Department of Defense. The Pentagon will comply immediately. No exceptions, name changes, or delays. President Trump also issued an executive order to end discrimination in higher education through race and sex under the guise of DEI. A new Fox opinion piece is titled Trump's Written DEI Government Death Sentence. School policy should be next. I go back to you. Clay, what's your take on all of this?
the meritocracy should triumph everywhere. The biggest, baddest, strongest people in the military, male or female, should be setting policy. We shouldn't be lowering standards to try to have cosmetic diversity. And if we really want to be focused on diversity, Harris, the only diversity that matters, diversity of thought. We have to challenge our leadership. We have to challenge all of these institutions to consider a wide range of possibilities, get to the best possible result. That's the only diversity that should matter. So I think, Pete, congratulations to him. I was on with Sean Friday when he officially got his vote. He is going to go in, and I love what he said. He's going to make lethality the focus of the military. In other words, we got to work on making sure that we're the best at kicking ass in the world. And if we do that, guess what? White, black, Asian, Hispanic, everybody comes together, and we all benefit.
Well, donkeys withstanding. Or notwithstanding. Readiness. I mean, he wants to give the president what he will need when the president says all hell will break out if you don't start returning those hostages. And, of course, we saw, thank the good Lord, more of them coming home now by Hamas. Look, he'll jump into that. There are more discussions and deals and whatnot to happen in the Middle East. The Abraham Accords happened under him, so there's a lot of potential there. But that's what I see as readiness coming back. Clay, thank you very much.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.